The Passport Universal Eternity is an innovation that is perfectly appropriate for today's family relationships. It maintains a link between the deceased and the family unit, the very foundation of an ever-changing society. Allow me to illustrate the various features of the Passport Universal Eternity: the front, component number 2, the back, component number 3, incorporating an identification card and a hidden interior compartment where the family can keep the most intimate mementos of the deceased. Component number 1 will accompany the deceased in the casket or in the ashes container on the day of death, during the funeral ceremony, and for eternity. Here is component number 1, prepared for the funeral service by the funeral home. The funeral home assigns a personal identification number to the deceased, which is then inscribed on the front, component number 2, and the back, component number 3. The code number assigned by the funeral home will accompany the deceased for eternity. During the funeral service, the first component is located near the casket and then placed inside it just before closing. Web technology linked to the Passport Universal Eternity, an identification number, allows all family members to access and view the online memorial regardless of their geographic location. Family members can access reserved information and friends can access the more general information. The funeral home welcomes you and illustrates the features of the Passport Universal Eternity. Its originality consists in the creation of a material support that enables identification of the deceased, which allows the family to accompany and perpetuate the memory of the loved one regardless of the type of funeral. The back component of the passport is created with information and photos relating to the identity of the deceased provided by the family. The front and back of the passport are available at the funeral home. The back interior is prepared to receive the secret memories. Component number 2 is identical to component number 1 that accompanies the deceased in the coffin, inscribed with the identification number. If the family desires, the first and last names of the deceased and the date of death can be inscribed on the front, component number 2. The family provides text and mementos to be sealed in the interior compartment. The funeral home staff use a special device to enclose the secret items inside the passport by sealing the front and back together in front of the family. A very strong adhesive seals the front and back to enclose the secret mementos within. The Passport Universal Eternity is placed inside a leather case and entrusted to the family of the deceased. The passport provides the family with a tangible keepsake and physical memorial of the deceased so that the loved one's presence is kept alive wherever the passport is located. Component number 1 with the assigned code accompanies the deceased during the burial or cremation ceremony and then remains with the deceased in the coffin or in the ash container as an eternal means of identification. Components number 2 and number 3, the front and back, are sealed together to form the Passport Universal Eternity, which can then be attached to a monument in a cemetery or inserted in a funeral urn. The passport can be kept by the family at home, displayed or concealed as a permanent remembrance of the deceased. The family can also obtain a copy of the passport by simply asking the funeral home during or after the burial or cremation. Furthermore, a Passport Universal Eternity of a long ago deceased loved one can be created as an everlasting memorial, a special place to keep photos, written text, or documents. The unique identification number assigned to each passport gives family and friends permanent access to the online memorial. Special codes allow the family to visit a special section reserved for them and the friends another more general section. Passport Universal Eternity. The innovation. Absent, but always present.